There was no backup coming. The skies were silent, the Allies had vanished, and the last cities of Miracas IV were burning under Krylak occupation. Families hid underground, leaders surrendered in whispers, and the once beautiful trade world was now a graveyard of broken promises. Hope had been extinguished until the clouds above cracked open with thunder not of storms, but of drop pods. They didn't know who it was at first. No banners, no broadcasts, just a deafening roar as fire streaked across the heavens. Then the pods hit, and when the smoke cleared, there they stood, humans, armored in steel, faces unreadable, weapons glowing. The universe had forgotten what it meant when Earth answered a call. But Miracas was about to remember. Because when humans fall from the sky, they don't come to talk. The fall of Miracas IV had once been called the Jewel of the Crescent Arm. It was a hub for trade, diplomacy, and education, where species from a dozen systems met in harmony. But when the Krylak Empire arrived, all that ended. The Krylak were not conquerors in the traditional sense. They were erasers of identity. Entire cultures disappeared under their rule, replaced by rigid control, silenced traditions, and unmarked graves. The planetary defenses of Miracas were good, but not good enough. After a year of resistance, the planet was reduced to fire and ash. The Galactic Council watched and mourned, but sent no aid. Miracas was too far, too insignificant. It was written off as another casualty in a war. No one had the strength to fight anymore. Last transmission before the Krylak took the final stronghold. A single encrypted transmission was sent out by a dying resistance fighter named Ilari Ven. She was a communications tech, gravely injured, but she managed to power up the old deep band emergency beacon that hadn't been used in decades. It was a relic from the time of Earth's expansion, an old agreement, barely remembered, stating, "In times of absolute desperation, signal Earth, and if they come in full." The message was simple: Miracas has fallen. Civilians, remain. Please, if anyone hears this, help. Most didn't even believe Earth still listened to such frequencies. They were quiet, inward-focused, busy with their own affairs. Some said the humans had grown soft. Others said they had grown too powerful and decided to remain neutral. But no one really knew because Earth hadn't answered a call for nearly 20 years. The silence breaks. The beacon had only been active for 11 minutes when Earth received it. On the moon base of Elysium Station, buried beneath layers of encrypted filters, the signal reached a quiet operations center. The message passed through layers of AI filters, scanning it for authenticity, risk, and historical markers. Then it hit a flag, a protocol that had only one outcome: Admiral Reyna. Solus was in the middle of a training operation on Mars orbit when her comms went black and Priority Red took over. The moment she saw the code, Protocol Iron Rain, she stood without a word and walked out. There were no meetings, no delays. Iron Rain meant one thing: immediate response. The humans mobilized. It took less than 4 hours for the decision to deploy to be confirmed. Earth's forces hadn't sat idle. Over decades of isolation, humanity had evolved its military into precision-focused, elite response units. Small, fast, adaptable. Designed not to occupy, but to intervene. Weren't armies. These were strike groups, teams of 10, each member trained in multiple roles, equipped with adaptive AI, exosuits, orbital drop gear, and full planetary survival kits. Earth never sent millions, it sent hundreds. Because that was enough. One of those strike groups, Hades Unit 7, was chosen for Miracas IV. Their mission: locate survivors, disrupt Krylak operations, and determine if the planet could be saved. Each member of Hades had fought in extinction-level scenarios. None of them asked questions. They simply packed. The fall from the sky on the 17th night of the occupation's final phase. The skies above Miracas cracked open with heat signatures. Krylak sensors lit up, but by then it was too late. From low orbit, 23 pods screamed through the atmosphere. Civilians who were hiding underground heard the booms echo above. When the first Krylak patrol approached the impact zone, they found only smoke and then gunfire. Controlled, precise, human. It wasn't just advanced tech, it was tactics. The Hades unit split the territory like surgeons. Within hours, key communication towers were taken offline. Krylak outposts began falling one by one. For the first time in months, resistance fighters began receiving encrypted messages. Hold position. Help has arrived. Echoes of Earth to the civilians. They seemed like ghosts' faces behind helmets. Voices filtered through translators, never staying in one place too long. But where they went, food arrived, medicine, safety. The Krylak had never faced humans like this. Earth's fighters didn't fight for territory or glory. They fought with precision, empathy, and brutal efficiency. Entire Krylak battalions simply disappeared, ambushed, redirected, sabotaged. One night, a child asked a human soldier named Cass if she was real. Cass removed her helmet and smiled. Real enough. We heard you needed backup. Turning the tide within 2 weeks, the entire southern continent of Miracas was Krylak-free. Supply chains were restored. Civilian convoys were re-established. A coalition of ex-resistance fighters began rebuilding command. When the Krylak High Command sent reinforcements, Earth responded with orbit-based artillery strikes and electronic warfare that blinded half their fleet. The Krylak expected a slow resistance. They got full-spectrum warfare, but Earth never claimed the victory alone. They trained locals, rebuilt infrastructure, and established joint councils. Humanity wasn't just reclaiming a planet. They were reminding the galaxy that unity, true unity, meant standing with the fallen. Broadcast to the galaxy after Miracas was secured, a single message was broadcast from the surface on all frequencies. It was a young woman named Ilari Ven, now in a medical bed, surrounded by soldiers from Earth and Miracas alike. We thought hope was gone. But then the humans fell from the sky. Not as conquerors, but as friends. And because of that, we rise again. That message was watched by over 13 billion citizens across the galaxy. For the first time in decades, the image of Earth was not a mystery, but a promise. Galactic ripples, the fall of Miracas changed everything. Dozens of oppressed planets reopened contact with Earth. The Galactic Council reopened discussions with Terran diplomats. Krylak operations slowed, and on several fringe worlds, rebellions broke out again, this time knowing someone might answer their call. But Earth didn't flood the stars. They sent only what was needed, where it was needed. Strike groups, medships, engineers. Humanity had become something new, not rulers but guardians. The legacy of the Thalia statue now stands at the impact site of Hades Unit 7's landing. It's a single armored figure, holding a child in one hand and a signal beacon in the other. Below it, a plaque reads, "When all hope was gone, they fell from the sky." Earth didn't ask for tribute. They didn't build empires, they built trust. And in the years that followed, a new alliance formed, not just of governments, but of peoples. Miracas became a symbol, not of what was lost, but what could be saved. And across the galaxy, every time a world feels forgotten, they look up. Because now they know, if you're lucky, and Earth is listening, humans might fall from the sky. Again. What came after the rebuilding of Miracas IV wasn't led by politicians, it was led by survivors. Farmers turned into logistics officers, teachers became civic leaders, and alongside them were human engineers, doctors, and AI specialists, working without fanfare. Earth didn't govern, they guided. The Krylak's vast surveillance systems were dismantled, replaced with community-based networks backed by Earth's secure AI cores. Children born after the fall were taught two histories, the one of what was lost, and the one of how it was reclaimed. The humans from the sky became legend, but never myth. They were real, often still walking among the people, helping rebuild bridges, cities, and culture. For many, Earth was no longer a distant power, it was the friend who answered when no one else would. A signal returned 2 years after the America's intervention. A new signal came, not a distress call, but an invitation. Dozens of fringe worlds, each once abandoned or devastated by Krylok rule, sent envoys to Earth, not to plead, but to collaborate. They had rebuilt, inspired by Miracas, and now wanted to create something bigger. An alliance built on resilience, speed, and mutual aid. Earth agreed, cautiously. No grand empires, no vast fleets, just fast, agile networks. The Phoenix Accord was born, a pact of worlds who knew darkness and chose to answer it with action. Not war-hungry, not naive, just ready. Ready to fight when needed. Ready to fall from the sky for each other. And in the cold, quiet reaches of the galaxy, Krylok Command watched. They remembered Miracas. They remembered Earth, and they knew now, you never ignore a planet with humans on it. You never underestimate what comes after hope dies, because when that last spark ignites again, the sky might fall, and with it comes Earth.